Welcome back from our short commercial break. And now we are continuing in looking at how government officials affect government official affect the and also collaborate with rural institution in innovation adoption. So, sir, can you tell us how how can government, NGOs, and private sector collaborate effectively with rural institutions?
Yeah, thank you. Um, these stakeholders that you've mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
they can collaborate. In fact, they need to collaborate with rural institutions in several ways. Particularly the government. Let me start with the government. In terms
Okay.
of policy support and funding, there is need for targeted subsidies to some of these grants, and sometimes in terms of low interest loans to some of these cooperatives that we are talking about, farmers cooperatives, all these self-help groups that exist. There should be a way that the government will have policies to assist them. Uh, they could also assist them in terms of capacity building by providing trainings for them. They could strengthen the agricultural extension services of the country, the states, the local government. You know, a lot of states they pay lip service to extension, and we cannot achieve anything like that. So, but they work because it's a social service. Extension is more or less a social service.
Mm-hmm.
So, because of that, the government will have to bear the major what do you call it, brunt of what is needed for extension to be actually effective in the country. So they need to strengthen agricultural extension services. They need to then they need to provide infrastructure.
Hmm.
There's need for infrastructure the development in many of these communities. For instance, how many of our rural areas are digitally connected? These are issues. So, and these aren't something that the rural communities will have to do on themselves by themselves. They may only advocate for those things to be done. It is still the duty of the government and private companies to be able to do that. Then the NGOs on their own, they can assist in the area of mobilization, creating mobilization for these rural institutions, providing awareness, advocating for them. What do you call it? Standing as their mouthpiece in front of the government, so that the government can be able to do things that these people need. They can also come in the area of capacity building, in helping to train them on techniques, on how to use new technologies and what have you. So they can do that. Then we also need, apart from all these NGOs and the government, even the private sector, we need their engagement. Some of them, they make use of the outputs. The raw materials that many of them use are from these rural communities. So they can come, they can partner with them, they can go into outgrower schemes with them. Beyond that, they should be ready to channel their corporate, their CSR, corporate social responsibility programs. They should channel it into supporting some of the initiatives that these rural institutions are bringing forward, or even using it to fund things like a rural school, providing healthcare, and some other things like that. We need them to come in that area. Even some of these institutions that are not directly linked to agriculture can also assist in this regard. You can imagine if all these telecommunication giants, if they devote a portion of their corporate social responsibility into providing support for rural institutions. You can imagine how far we'll go in that regard. So we actually need a kind of collaborative model for success, so that there won't be a scenario whereby everybody is focusing on the same area. So there may be need for us to have a department within the ministry that will be looking at what area each of these institutions, these stakeholders that we're talking about, what they want to do, where they want to channel it, so that at the end of the day, we will not have a situation whereby it is only this community that everybody is focusing on. All the other communities are not benefiting. So we have double, triple, or quadruple dipping into by the same community, whereas some other communities are left unattended to. It is something that needs to be organized. There should be a department of government that will be saddled with the responsibility of organizing this kind of interventions that we're talking about.
Thank you so much, sir, for your elaborate response. Thank you so much, sir. So my next question now, I'm going to reform my question to make it more comprehensive. Now, let's look at emerging technologies like AI, ChatGPT, some drone, precision agriculture, and the likes. How can these technologies be introduced in rural areas? And what are the roles of local institutions in the success of this? Can you share it briefly, sir?
Yeah. I think some few weeks back at the University of Ibadan, they have a center that for, I think it's energy economics and petrol and something and petroleum or something law, something like that. They call it CPM. They usually have this collaboration with our Department of Agriculture Extension and Rural Development. So we're talking about something like this. And they were bringing in the use of Internet of Things, the use of AI to promote precision agriculture and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's actually, we have to bring in some groups of farmers from some of the communities where we are intervening to come and witness this life. So this is part of the things that can be done. You can bring them from the community, from some of these institutions to where those things are working so that they can see for themselves. By this, create a kind of dissonance within them that will make them to yearn for that kind of change in their community. So another method is for you to bring that particular technology to come and implement it in their community, let them see how that kind of a thing works. But beyond that, for us to be able to achieve that, we must make sure all those characteristics of an adoptable innovation must be present. Beyond some of these things being good, being superb, we have to make sure that in the design of some of this technology, we have to make them user-friendly. Because we need to consider the educational level of the people we are introducing it to. Or some of this technology, we may face the introduction such that maybe the educated segment or within the stratum within the rural communities are first introduced to some of these things. They use it, and over time, because these people, even if they did not go to school, they have a way of learning fast, and they see what others are doing, and from there they start copying. They get interested, and they may start using some of these things. But by and large, we can get their buy-in by relating with them, understanding that they are crucial, they are key stakeholders in the diffusion and the adoption process. I mean, this rural institution, we get their buy-in, carry them along, introduce some of these technologies to them, provide the necessary support to them, and make sure that what we are introducing to them, they're actually suitable for their environment. They are environmentally and culturally compatible. They are economically feasible in terms of usage. They are aligned with their level of education. You start from where the rural people are. You don't just bring things ahead that is ahead of that is above their level of understanding. So you need to work with them. You need to work with them, even in the design of, because when we say drone, the drone that the military will use will be different from the drone that those people with big, their own big farms will be able to use. It will be different from the one that you want to use for those who are small scale farmers, who are farmers with less education. So it all depends on how well you carry them along, know where they are, study them very well, and use introduce something that will actually fit into their lifestyle. We were talking about another time. We were talking about this use of. We asked them that, okay, because there are some of these communities, they do not have internet facilities. That whatever you need, you want to introduce, whatever technology you want to use for precision agri, there should be something that is SMS based, short message services based, something that where you can use USSD, not something that will only rely on internet connectivity. So, but there are some rural communities where they have digital connectivity. So what you can use all these advanced technologies there. Yeah, exactly. So you need to understand the environment. You need to understand them, do the profiling, scope the environment, profile the environment, look at what will fit in before you introduce those technologies.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your elaborate response. And also, while talking, you've been able to talk about the structures that need to be put in place for such technology to be well adopted, like the internet structure, the cultural structure, the educative aspects, and also the participatory approach that we need to use rather than top down or bottom up. It has to be participatory, rather in the sense that farmers they have to see for themselves and they have to be involved in whatever that we are doing. So quickly, we'll move to roles of youth briefly. Roles of youth and women in innovation adoption. Roles of youth and women. Can you briefly tell us how women and youth, the role they play in an innovation adoption?
Well, understanding the fact that the youth, they are the future leaders. They symbolize the future. So without them, as good as the generations will go extinct. So whatever they are, and they are vibrant. They are usually bustling with energy. Because of that, in fact, and the researchers have proven that they even adopt faster than they are more innovative. They are less risk averse, so they adopt technology faster than older people. So the same way women, women in most of our communities, they constitute half or more than half of the maybe even if they are less than half, but let's say they are like 50% of the population. So if you decide to sideline 50% of any population, it's like you are doing a disservice to the community. So they are equally very, very important in the technology adoption process. We can't do without them. We can't do without the youth.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for making us see why youth and women are very essential, in the sense that youth, they adopt innovation easily, so we have to consider them, and that women, they constitute a large part of the community dwellers, so we have to consider them as well. So while rounding up, I would want you to, what key advice would you give to decision makers and innovation program designers, and also the final message you would love to share with young people and stakeholders working to drive innovation in rural area. What is the key advice and final message for this?
Well, I would say that we all need to work together. We need one another. The government to understand that they are nothing without the people. So they have to provide the necessary policy, environment, and support for rural institutions to thrive so that things will continue to be better in our communities. For our youth, they should understand that they are the future of the country. They are the future of our generation. And because of that, they have to be involved. They have to be involved in everything positive that is going on. In Yoruba, we say "Tinobaku afi boju, tiogede-baku afomo eropo." That is, when someone dies, it's usually the offsprings that were actually carrying on from where they stopped. So it's important for the youth to be involved in what we do. They should be involved in agriculture. They should be involved in anything that will bring change and positive growth to the community. I think this is, and for the innovation makers, the designers, they must understand that what they are designing is not something. The technology is as good as the number of people that are using it. If you develop a technology that people are not using, if you do not design it with the people in mind, then you have wasted your time, you have wasted effort, you've wasted money. So it's better, if you want to design anything, always let it be people-centric. Let the people that are going to use it be at the center of it. Design it with them, test it with them before you finally roll out the technology. I think this is what I can say, considering the time that we have at our disposal.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for this such enlightenment. Thank you for making us understand the role of everybody in this, in the sense that everybody has a role to play, including the people and the youths and the women, and also the change makers and the innovation designers, that we have to consider the people and make our innovation user-friendly and user-centric. Thank you so much once again for honoring our invitation on this program. And thank you for sharing from your wealth of knowledge on the critical role of rural institutions in adoption of innovation. And you've been able to share to us practical aspects of how the role of stakeholders, the role of youth, and also how rural institution has to be seen in the center of this. So we've come to the end of our program for today. And like we always say, if you are someone out there, an agricultural expert like our guests for today, and you would love to share one or two with our farmers in Africa, in Nigeria, and other African countries, please feel free to reach out to us through the number on the screen, and we would love to host you on this program. So thank you once again, Dr. Idris Badiru. We are more than honored to have you here today. Till you come our way again on this program, stay safe and be good.